Howdy y'all, I'm Ice Gold, and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about something that has been requested for a while now, but I think could be improved upon with a different system. Or not so much of a different system, but rather an extension of a system we already have. Now the requested feature that I'm talking about has been mount stitching. As you can see, this battle narwhal that I'm on right now, it's pretty big, um, and you know, some people might not like that, and they would want to use a smaller mount, like the mythcast symbol. You can see much more of your screen with it, but when using this, you lose out on the 2 damage that you get from the narwhal. And the issue that some people have is that they want to have the stats from their stat mounts that they have while also having the look of another mount that they like. And you'll see this happen with, you know, bundle mounts, and mounts that just generally look cool, rare mounts like the Frontier Dragon, assuming that's what it's called. I could be totally wrong, it could be called something totally different. I was on break when that rolled out, but point being, there's been a lot of calls for the developers to add a mount stitching system. But I see it a little differently. Mount stitching, I think, could be good, but it would be better, in my opinion, to add more customizability to existing mounts. And what I have in mind is adding a new type of jewel socket to handle this. So as you can see on my Athame here, there are tier sockets, circle sockets, and triangle sockets, as well as square sockets on other pieces of gear. And these have been around since 2015, I want to say, when they added jewels to the game. And these added a new level of customizability that I think everyone appreciates, you know? Like being able to get 16 extra accuracy on an Athame is a pretty hefty buff, without a doubt, as well as, you know, extra pip chance, or extra arch mastery now, if I had this one unsocketed. But they also added star slots, the pets, and this gave pet creators a way to add a 6th talent to their already customizable piece of gear. And I think that all these years later, this could be applied to mounts. Now, if the developers were to add a heart socket, for example, that would be exclusive to mounts, I think that it would be just a good system, superior to that of mount stitching. Because when you think of stitching, you know, you can go over here to, okay, right, we're in Lemuria, it's backwards. But if you go to typically Eloise, stitching items cost 100 crowns, and unstitching items also cost 100 crowns. So if you wanted to stitch them out to, let's say you wanted to stitch the Battle Narwhal stats to the, I don't know, basic Enchanted Brooms look, it would cost 100 crowns to do this. And let's say another mount came out down the line that you liked, and you bought it, but now you want that to be the look of your mount, and you would have to drop another 200 crowns in total to do that. And you know, that's a little that's not something anyone really likes, having to spend extra crowns just to change the look of something. But with a heart socket, you could simply socket and shatter different jewels to add extra customizability. Now, what does that mean for the existing stat mounts? Well, I think that if heart sockets were to be added, existing stat mounts would not get the sockets. You would have to just live with it, you know? And that might not be a good monetary move, because I'm sure the Gulcher's Horde pack has made King's Isle Entertainment probably millions at this point. I think would be a good estimate, considering it came out in 2017. In the event that sockets were to be added, I think that it would be good if existing stat mounts just didn't get them. And because, you know, it's like pets, right? All pets have the star socket, but there were never any pets that gave stats to begin with, aside from the armored skeleton, which gave 1% power pips, which, yeah, that's trivial. But when it comes to mounts, you got 3 school-specific damage on all the Gulchers. You've got Pierce on a couple of them, Pip Chance on others. It's a whole thing. But adding customizability to existing mounts would be just a better move. There could be different types of bonuses from these hard sockets, you know, of course, because there's stat mounts that give a wide variety of stats. You know, you got the typical damage mounts, you've got the Mammoth Mini that gives outgoing healing, you've got the Rock, Waddling Witch Hunt, etc. that give pip chance, the Crystal Unicorn gives accuracy, and I think there's a few more that I'm forgetting to touch on. But the bonuses that you could get from these hard sockets, I wouldn't want to exacerbate the problem with stats on mounts any more than it already is. Because, you know, my position on it is that stats on mounts should have never happened, but since they have, the best way we could do it is to just keep their effects to a minimum. So, I'm thinking, you know, it's going to seem a bit higher, but it'll make sense in a minute when I talk about it. But I'm thinking up to 4 specific school damage. So if I had, you know, a death damage heart socket and I wanted to stick it on this, I could do that, and now this would give me 4% extra death damage. So, you know, it would be pretty neat. And then also up to 4% power pip chance, up to 2 Pierce for the time being, since Pierce is already kind of out of hand, up to 2 heal boost to keep it on par with the Mammoth Mini, and then up to, my Google Doc says 2 accuracy, but I wouldn't mind seeing this go a little higher, but 2 universal accuracy I think would be a good place to stop it, at least, because that would be on par with Crystal Unicorn. And another stat that I've wanted to see it in the game for a while is actually extra speed boost. I don't know if I have them. Okay, yeah. So the Boots of the Comet, I think I bought these for like a raid a while back, but they give an extra 8% movement speed. So if I were to equip these, I don't think, maybe you can notice it, but I'm about 8% faster than I was. Of course, this comes at the cost of all of these stats, so, you know, wouldn't want to have them. But adding, you know, an extra 10% speed boost, for example, could be kind of cool. If I were to add it to the mount I've got on right now, it would bring this up to plus 50% speed boost. And for mount, I think that makes perfect sense to add. Of course, you know, I think King's Isle would be averse to adding anything above 10%, considering the 55% mounts that currently exist. I mean, if you were there, and I want to say 2019 or 2020, whenever they ran that 700,000 crown event, it was a whole mess. But like that, I don't think they want to do that again. So, but yeah, extra speed boost I think would make perfect sense to add for a mount for hard socket. And then there's also shad rating. Do I have any on this guy? Maybe. Okay, so these jewels prior to the 2020 summer update when shad rating became a thing. These used to give just bonus percentage to your shadow pip chance, and the plus 3s gave plus 3%, and now they give just a flat plus 3, which, you know, is not that good. So I think if these shad rating sockets were to give maybe, let's say up to 8 with the with us being in the 4th arc at this point, I think that would be pretty good to have. Additionally, pip conversion. I don't think there are any pip conversion sockets at the moment. I know there's pins for it. I could be wrong. Maybe it's under the square sockets. Let's talk to Feiner. Maybe he has some. Oh, actually, I guess not. So, and this reminds me, you could add stun resist sockets as well. So, or stun resist to the hard sockets. Same with block and crit and all that. But adding a pip conversion bonus to hard socket would be great. I want to say maybe, I don't think it should be too much. I think it should be maybe like 20 to 30. That sounds about right. And then Arch Mastery could be a thing as well. Maybe up to, let's say, 8 of that. That could be nice. And this could be a little bit of a hot take, but a 1% resist socket could drop as well. It would be the rarest of the bunch, because resist is already overtuned, but hey, you know, there hasn't ever been a resist mount having a 1% resist bonus on a heart socket could be kind of cool. It could be something people would want to farm for, and I don't think it should ever go above 1% because resist is already just overtuned as it is. If I put on like this pet, for example, my main set with 200 plus damage gives 60 res, so would want to avoid that. So that wraps up the effects. How they would drop. I would spread them out through the 4 existing arcs. So for, you know, pip chance, for example, you could have a 1% heart socket drop from Dragonspire. Maybe make that a, I don't know, level 45 plus type deal. A 2% pip chance socket would drop from Chrysalis. And then 3% from Imperia, and then a 4% from the upcoming world of Wallaroo. And this general idea is why I said up to 4 school-specific damage as opposed to the existing 3, because, you know, 4 arcs wouldn't hurt, right? Especially because, like, what difference is 1 damage gonna make, right? Like 213 to 214. That's not going to be that much. I guess technically 214 to 215 since I only have a narwhal, but I think expanding these to the upcoming world of Wallaroo could make for, you know, new opportunities to push some of the, I guess, less broken effects and stats forward a little more. And for the others, like heal boost, for example, like the 2% heal boost, we could have 1% heal boost sockets drop in Chrysalis, and then have the 2% drop in Wallaroo, just to, you know, keep them sufficiently spaced out. Just have one drop in Arc 2, one in Arc 4, that type of deal. You could even do Arcs 1 and 3, like with accuracy, if you wanted to do that. As for, you know, shad rating, that would come like either late Arc 2 or beginning of Arc 3. I think that would be a good place to put it, since, you know, you can't really get shad rating before you either hit Darkmoor or the Eclipse Tower. So there's that, and then I may have said this already, but the 1% resist socket could drop from Wallaroo alone, just as something to farm for, you know, just cause. So I think that's going to wrap up. I hope y'all enjoyed. I know I kind of rambled for a little while, but I'm just passionate about this idea. I think that as cool as Mount Stitching could be, this is better and more customizable. And I think it would be just a great idea for the game to add, especially at its, in its current state, 15 years. Might as well do something like that. So yeah, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.